What black community? It's a black environment with black women and black children in it.
There's this myth out there that black men can't handle being spoken to, and told what to do by black women. Black men come from our bodies.
Yeah.
So they're used to having these conversations with women.
The matriarchy is strong with the black
It is
community.
very strong.
When I die, I'ma go to Snow Bunny Heaven. Snow Bunny Heaven.
Ooh, is it love? Or is it something else? Ooh, do we share it? Or am I in this by myself?
So be
trying to see. Them girls are never give a love.
Subir.
Quantic, run them bands up. yo, Quantic, run them bands up.
They actually did it. Okay. For those of you that are not in the know.
And shout out to all the real blurs out there. I hear there's a little bit of a blurred convention that's been overrun by the Negras. Yeah, the blurs are kind of unhappy about the state of blurredom right now. Apparently the Negras have infiltrated a recent blurred event. It was fat girls in cosplay twerking on stage. It was terrible. It was terrible. Anyway, like I said, shout out to all the real blurs out there, man.
You're out of the woke loop. One of the jokes, the ongoing, continuous jokes about them race swapping all of these characters. They keep race swapping every white, red-haired character to be black.
It's gone to the point where black folk on Twitter have actually said gingers are the new black. You got to spell it with an A, though. You can't spell ginger with the hard ER. It has to be ginger. You know, that's how the black gingers say it. Niggas is so terrible. And, you know, there's two ways I want to go with this commentary today. Because the race swapping thing it's hilarious on its own face, because obviously the race swapping is all the it's all the rave right now in Hollywood. Like, that's all they can imagine is just mixing switching out historical figures who are white, mind you, and making them black. They don't really do that with like Mulan. You know what I mean? Only the white characters. And so it does become a bit of irony. And not only irony, but, you know, I've been saying a particular thing for a while now. Remember, type a 1 in the chat if you've heard me say this. The memes are willing themselves into existence. Have I not told you that? The Ryan Gosling Black Panther meme has, again, willed itself into existence. The power of memes is unstoppable. Like, we really do need to do a kind of in-depth study on how psychologically and socially powerful memes are, because this is not the first time a meme has willed itself into existence, you know. But here we are. The Black Panther's got a white son, the sky is falling, hoes mad, everything's happening all at once.
Like that makes a difference. Like that virtue signaling makes anything better. It doesn't, because the fans want the characters that they fell in love with all these years on the pages of the comic books. Okay? We are sick and tired of you race swapping, gender swapping, sexuality swapping, and everything else in between.
Nah, I'm sorry, big black nerd guy. And I'm with you. I'm on your team in the sense that I'm over the entire issue of race swapping characters. I would prefer a new original character be thrown into the mix, you know, shake the dice and see who wins, you know. But to do that is a risk unto itself, right? So you always need a new guy with a new comic book line. Like, what's that one black guy who come up with his own comic books? Damn, why did all these black comics, all the blurred names escape me all of a sudden? But I actually follow him. I see when his videos comes out. But he came out with his own line of comics just recently. I think he's animating his comics and all that. Like, it's a risk unto itself to create your own new characters from the bottom up. And then especially if you want them to be particularly black, like, you kind of have to go out on a limb. But that means if it works, then it's real and people love it and you got a hit on your hands. Like, imagine the guy who created Spawn. There's no practical reason why Spawn had to be black, but they made him black, and thank you for that. We needed a black superhero at that time. All we had was Spawn and Blade.
However, one of the jokes that I've seen so many times till I'm blue in the face, I'm just tired of saying it, is, can't wait till they cast Ryan Gosling as Black Panther. And what it is it's people talking about how much they're so irritated with switching to white characters, but they refuse to change anyone that's a person of color to white.
I want the next star of whatever remake of Tarzan to be black. Tarzan needs to be race swapped as a black guy. A dark-skinned black guy hanging around the jungles of Africa. His mom and dad's a gorilla. He gorilla talks for the half the movie, just ooh, 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 ooh. And then the white man comes and he falls in love with a blonde-haired white woman. I need that movie. It would be hilarious too.
Well, they said, watch us. And they just did it. So many outlets are talking about it.
They really did it though. These crazy sons of bitches. They really made Black Panther white. And they did it in a way that actually works into the Wakanda narrative. Apparently there was that battle for supremacy. You know how the Wakandans do. White boy beat that old nigga down, son. He beat that old nigga down. It was terrible.
I didn't know which one to pick. So I just clicked on Bounding into Comics. And here you have it, folks. Marvel Comics introduces T'Challa's white son, Katema, as future Black Panther and King of Wakanda. In a move that is sure to cause the exact...
He sounded a little bit depressed about us, no lie. I think there's a lot of black butt hurt. Not everybody knows about it. You know, it didn't hit the airwaves. Like, not everybody's into comics, so it's going to take a minute for it to hit. But wait till they put Ryan Gosling in the new movie. You niggas going to be so mad.
Exact explosion of discourse it was intended to. See, Marvel Comics has kicked off their latest visit to their Marvel Knights imprint with the revelation that at some point in the near future of Earth 616, T'Challa will find himself challenged for both Wakandan throne and the Black Panther by his heir apparent, his blonde-haired, white-skinned son.
Black Panther ran away from Wakanda and made an Aryan baby. What in the Black Power is going on here? We got to take a break. I need to stop for a minute. The Black Panther done ran away from Wakanda and made an Aryan baby. I think the baby mama is like from Sweden or something like that. He went and got him a snow bunny.
When I die, I'ma go to snow bunny heaven. Snow bunny heaven.
Katema. I done seen it all now. I've done seen it all. Unbelievable as it may seem, this twist to Wakanda's canon was confirmed in the debut issue of Christopher Priest and Joe Quesada's New Marvel Knights.
It's canon. It's not even in a one-off Marvel what if. It's real, nigga. His white son is real. And he the king, and he got the suit. What now?
The World to Come miniseries. The latest title in the Marvel Knights imprint was originally created by Quesada. I want to say Quesadilla the way it's. Man, but to denote those books that were a bit.
Dirty Folks in the chat says, irony, in the comics, his sister Shuri dated the White Panther. That's actually historically accurate. I do know there was a White Panther character that is Marvel canon. I didn't know about the dating part. There's a White Wolf apparently. Then I think there's a White Panther as well. They're very lesser known characters, but it's not unheard of. This technically isn't really shaking up Marvel canon. It's just the mimetics are too powerful right now to not notice what happened.
Too edgy for publishers' general audience. The World to Come flings readers into the near future of Marvel's universe to find Wakanda embroiled in political unrest as the new resistance group known as the Aquamarines.
Portia, why you think I'm playing too much? I'm being dead real. I am being dead real. T'Challa got him a little Kyle. How does a nigga named T'Challa have him a little Kyle? I mean, they gave him a little fake African name like Kematai or something like that, but that nigga name, look at him. His name Kyle.
Wages an ongoing coup attempt against the country's traditional ruling regime. As to how the world's most advanced nation found itself in such a state of disarray, it is soon revealed that the heart-shaped dominoes began to fall when its current king T'Challa is met with a formal combat challenge for the throne by son Katema, a formidable masked warrior who has found himself up with his father's indifference.
So apparently, you know how like in the Black Panther movie, the Panther's uncle had a secret kid outside of Wakanda, and then the kid grew up resentful, and then he came back wanting a piece of what's mine. Same thing. Black Panther, same thing. Like, niggas just be skeeting everywhere, bro. You gotta chill. One day your little bastard gonna come back and want your throne, bro. It's not cool.
It's people's autonomy. Though he easily proves himself the more competent warrior, of course, T'Challa finds himself unable to bring the challenge to an end, as thanks to his son's adamant refusal to voluntary surrender, The only way to do so would require him to outright kill Kitema, mistaking his father's mercy as patronization. Kitema ultimately brings to a...
Caught that old nigga lacking. Old nigga thought it was sweet. Now Wakanda belonged to me. Nigga.
Close. After he flies into a rage and doing so, taking his father by surprise and dropping him with a brutal 3-hit combo. Hitting with the bink, bink, boom. The 2-piece and a biscuit.
Yep, that bing, bang, boom. A lot of niggas done fell to the bing, bang, boom. Trying to tell you, man, you gotta watch out.
T'Challa is dropped. And T'Challa's hairline is back here. God damn!
Yeah, you got to see the artwork for that panel, bro. The artwork on that panel is crazy. They got T'Challa looking like the old nigga on the block, bro. It's crazy. They made T'Challa look like his pops in the Civil War movie. Like, how T'Challa get that old? I thought that purple herb was supposed to slow that shit down. The purple herb is basically like nature's version of the Captain America serum. Why this nigga old already? Like, y'all really doing T'Challa dirty just to get a white boy in there, man. That's crazy.
With T'Challa unable to sing, Kitema turns to the elders of Wakanda and formally declares himself the country's new top cat. I see what you did there. Panther, cat, I saw what you did. Proclaiming, I am now the new king. Wakanda is mine, father. The new Black Panther proceeds to remove his mask and reveal himself to be a white man. And much to their surprise, rather than a black-skinned African, T'Challa's son sports a far paler skin and blonder hair than his fellow countrymen.
It is funny, though. Don't bullshit. It is funny, man. We got to have that scene in a Marvel movie. We need the whole storyline to play out in a Marvel movie. I want that nigga in the Wakandan royal court with the big giant lip thing. I want him to be like, what did you mean of this? I want to see his big lip thing flapping around when the white boy pull the mask off and be like, Wakanda belongs to me now. And then all the black people be like, oh my God, this white supremacy is taking over. I want the people of Wakanda to be protesting against white supremacy in downtown Wakanda. I need the whole thing. We need the live action Marvel storyline. We got to put this in the MCU.
Who did he hit off to get a white child? Current outside existence.
And why didn't they let him make a mutant baby with Storm? Everybody knows T'Challa and Storm were supposed to bring forth Black comic book Jesus baby. They were going to have the super Negro baby. He was going to be the Prince of Wakanda. He was going to have naturally empowered by the purple root drink thing. And he was going to be a mutant because, you know, Storm is Omega levels. You can't help but to pass that on. They were going to have the Black comic super nigga baby. And y'all didn't let us have that. Y'all gave us this blonde-haired, blue-eyed Aryan kid. What the hell, man?
Time's background, notably divorced from Storm.
Storm had an AB. Don't tell me Storm was strong and independent and she didn't want to have that nigga baby. Storm would hit it with the strong and independent, bro. I can see Storm hitting him with the strong and independent. Her eyes start to white over. You know how Storm eyes get all white and cloudy? By the earth, mother goddess, I don't need your Wakandan kingdom. Next thing you know, the baby just dripped right out of her and shit. Like, that was awful. That was awful. They wouldn't put that in a comic book. That was terrible.
Given T'Challa's complexion, it seems unlikely that Monica Okay, I don't know who the mother is. I guess they'll reveal that later. I'm kind of skimming through this. Yet to be introduced woman or an orphan adopted and brought into his legacy, a la Batman and Robin. Okay.
Nah, it can't be. Ain't no way T'Challa would have secretly adopted a white boy and then nobody knows about it until the boy grows up to beat T'Challa ass one day at a fight. No, no, you can't just undo 40 years of Black Panther canon to be like, yeah, he was secretly raising this white boy the whole time. Come on, man. Nah. You got to stick with he left Wakanda one night. He got drunk, slapped cheeks with this white girl. And then now, she was kind enough to not hit him up for no vibranium child support. You know how much child support be if you got to pay in vibranium, bro?
Interesting. Well, it's all been done now. It's all been done. So it is what it is, folks.
Nah, man. It's not over. Just when you think it's over, something else is going to happen, bro. But they hit my man T'Challa with the white baby. Gave him a white baby, bro. That's wicked. And then what's really funny about the whole Wakanda thing? And this is like a shame on Black people kind of moment too, right? Because I want you to understand, everybody, take yourselves back to that moment in time where the Black Panther movie came out. It was such a cultural phenomenon. Even South Park roasted the Black Panther movie, where Cartman was like, it just wasn't that great. And the thing is, as movies go, it really isn't all that great. It's definitely one of the B-level movies of the MCU. The whole like phase 1 or whatever they called it, that whole level of the MCU that got us up to Avengers Endgame, the Black Panther movie wasn't the greatest of all movies. Nowhere near. I'd rather watch, Civil War. I said that came on the other day. I watched that like twice the other day, a couple of weeks ago, because it just popped up. And that was way better than Black Panther, But as a cultural touchstone, Black Panther is the MCU as far as niggas is concerned, right? A lot of Black folk basically extended their concept of Black culture to incorporate a Marvel product. We literally made a Marvel product a part of Black culture, and everybody just went with it. Got my Black Panther dashiki on. Yeah, some chicks were in Congress doing the Wakandan salute. Kamala Harris did a Wakandan salute to Wakanda forever. And it is like really the peak of irony that after all the Black people suddenly became comic book fans, all of a sudden, niggas, I've been reading Black Panther since I was a little kid. All of a sudden, niggas done came to the church. Now you want to be a part of the congregation. And now that all the niggas done came into the congregation because of Black Panther, what they do? They kill Black Panther. Then they replaced him with a girl. They didn't really let Panther shine for more than 2 movies, and then they replaced him with a girl. Really 3 movies. He was in Endgame for a minute. He made it to Endgame kind of, sort of, for a minute. I don't even know if he was really in Endgame or if that was just like CGI Panther. But in reality, he had about 2 movies. They replaced him with a girl, and now Black Panther, the official title of Black Panther, King of Wakanda, is a white man. A white male. Amazing irony. Really amazing irony. You can't really get more irony than this irony.
Say hi, Daddy. Say hi, Daddy.
Hi, Dad.
Whose goddamn white baby is that? This baby is rice-skinned, but not light-skinned. That is a white child. That is Caucasian from the mountains of Caucasus. That is a Slavic baby, a Viking from Iceland. That baby got 730 as a credit rating right now as an infant. White power! White power!
No, he didn't do the Wakanda sign and say white power. Oh no, these niggas are terrible. These niggas is uncontrollable now.
I'm sorry. Wait. Okay. Let's start this over. Let's do this the way that it's supposed to be done. What's up, Harry?
Yeah, bro, totally for real, man. This is not a troll. Do I get up here and lie to y'all? Grant 718. Would I lie to you? The new Panther is white. The King of Wakanda is white. And my Lambo is black.
Everybody, it's Kata, aka a little too short, and I'm sorry, I'm very giddy today because we got some news coming out of Marvel Comics that is just absolutely amazing. I'm not too up to date on current Marvel Comics. I haven't been reading them since around 2014, 2015 time frame. You know, when they started doing that all new, all different Marvel. The only comics I'm reading right now are the Rippaverse comics, the Energon universe with Void Rivals, and the Transformers run. Both of those are very good right now, and the Ultimate Spider-Man run. So I guess that.
See, he a real blurred. He's all in the comic books I didn't even know was popping right now. I'm years behind on my comic book literature, man. I just watch comic book videos at this point. I haven't actually physically held a comic book in my hand in years. I forgot what they feel like.
Counts as Marvel, but not really since it's the Ultimates universe, and that's the only one I'm reading. But we had some information that came out that apparently T'Challa has been dipping in the vanilla pudding, okay? He's been putting his toe in that vanilla pudding, and we're gonna talk about it real quick and why.
Why couldn't they give us the Storm T'Challa? I wanted Storm T'Challa, okay? I needed Storm and T'Challa to make a little magnificent Negro baby. You know how, like, in the MC, well, not the MCU, but in the Marvel universe, Franklin Richards is pretty much the most powerful human being, if you could even consider him a human being. I mean, his mom and dad are humans. They started out as people, but Franklin Richards is the most powerful, like, person in all of, like, the Marvel narrative. You know, Blue Marvel, he's bigger than everybody. He's up there with cosmic level, the one above all type of powers, right? Can you imagine the baby that Storm and T'Challa would have had? I'm telling you, it would have been the super nigga. We could have had Marvel's very first super nigga, man, and they didn't let us get that. They didn't really want black people to have a super nigga, man. And I feel some type of way about that.
This is so amazing, but before we do so, I need y'all to do 3 things for me. Can you like the video?
You said T'Challa and Storm do have a son? Oh, look, I didn't even know that. Get out of here. T'Challa and Storm have a son. Look, news to me. Why this little bitch ass nigga not the king of Wakanda? How come they didn't see, man? They nerfed his son. What's going on? All right, you know what? I don't even want to know. I'm already disappointed.
Share the video and also subscribe to the channel. And if you don't do all 3 of those things, that's perfectly fine, because a white son is going to be the least of your problems, because when the MCU reboots the X-Men, I'm going to make sure that Storm is played by Cynthia Erivo. Now let's get into it, bro. Now, before we get too deep into the storyline involving T'Challa and the new Marvel Knights run that's happening right now, I need y'all.
Oh, okay. No wonder. All right, preference. Come on, stop confusing me with all these other Earth, infinity numbers. If it's not 616, it's not really canon, bro. So it's hard for me to tell you. It's hard for you to tell me that, oh, he got a son, but the nigga is in like a million dimensions away, though. Nah, that's not his real son. This is universal infinity. What's that called? That's his multiversal bastard, bro. That's not his real son.
To understand that this is canon. It is a part of the 616 universe.
See, the white boy canon. You can't undo the white boy, all right? There's no alternative timeline. There's no million gendered universes. There's one main universe. That's where the drama happens. That's where the big boys are. And a white boy is king of Wakanda now. Didn't I tell y'all White Boy Summer was going to be lit this year? I knew it. I knew it. We're not even halfway through summer and niggas done stole Wakanda. White Boy Summer so hard they stole Wakanda, bro. This is wild.
So if the MCU decides that, hey, they want to do a white Black Panther, I don't want to hear any complaints out of any of you, because this was a part of the comics. You know, that's the kind of things people like to say when you push back against dumb ideas. You know, like Shala Ball being the Silver Surfer in the upcoming Fantastic Four movie because she appeared in about 2 to 3 pages of a comic book in the early 2000s. Okay.
Yeah, they're making the Silver Surfer a chick now. Everybody already hates the new Fantastic Four. I don't want to talk about it anymore.
Sure, Ironheart, a character that has failed multiple times in the comics and never got off the ground, getting her own TV show, and you saying that's a problem somehow makes you a racist. Okay, sure. Captain African America, you know, the mantle swap of Captain America.
I really don't like Black Captain America. I really do not like Black Cap. I really want Bucky to take the shield, bro. I do. I need Bucky to take the shield. It doesn't fit, because like now Captain America is low-key a woke nigga, bro. I don't want Captain America to be a gone-ass nigga, bro. That's not really going to do it for me. I don't want my captain to be woke. I need a psychotic, one-armed white man to be the new Captain America. I need a white guy with anger issues. America's heading into rough times. You can't just hand this over to some smiling-ass Negro.
From Steve Rogers to Sam Wilson, you know, taking Sam Wilson's established superhero name and throwing that to the ground because, hey, he's never going to be as good as a white man. Okay, sure, y'all didn't have any problems with none of that, so I don't want to see you have a problem with T'Challa's white son. Wait, what's his name? He's a blonde-haired, white-skinned, blue-eyed dude called Katima, and he beat the shit out of T'Challa and basically told him, yo.
Didn't I tell y'all he beat the brakes off T'Challa, bro? He made that old nigga look even older. It was terrible. Left him on the ground bloody, man. I thought he was going to do him like in the movie and pick him up over his head and throw him off the cliff. It was terrible. It was terrible. They really doing them dirty out here, man. They got niggas taking L's left and right. It's crazy, bro.
This is my kingdom now. I own all this shit. It all belongs to me, my nigga. Y'all can't do nothing to me. I mean, look at this face. This is purebred whiteness. He is Aryan. This man is from the mountain of Caucasus.
How the hell did you wind up in the jungle of Africa? And you know, the way like royalty works, especially in cultures that like are a little bit like more primitive, not to call Wakanda primitive, but you know, it's kind of like a primitive aesthetic. But the way cultures tend to work when they run like that is the king becomes something like a godlike figure. And so what you'll ultimately have, this is unavoidable. There are going to be images of hundreds of Black people, maybe even thousands of Wakandans bowing and kneeling in worship of their white king. Just like the old days.
You know, that didn't come out of Storm's vagina or Misty Knight or any of the other black shits that he's hooking up with in the Marvel comics. So who is his mother? Where is he from? What's his story? At this date, we have no idea. But all we know is in the canon 616 universe, T'Challa has a white son. And now I'm about to explain why I'm so giddy. Because of the examples that I gave earlier. Whenever there's a race swap of a character and a mantle swap, the first thing people say is, what would you do if Black Panther was race swapped? And 10 times out of 10, everybody goes, oh no, it's integral to his character that he's black because he's a black man in Africa. Like there isn't an entire nation full of white people in the southern part of the continent. And
it would be funny if a white man takes over Wakanda and then Wakanda enters a golden age. Technology like they've never had before. Like Wakanda was already advanced, but you know, now they figured out how to you know, make the vibranium float or something like that. They would take Wakanda into a whole, they would find a whole new planet and all that. Like, we got this little country in Africa, but, you know, we own a planet like 3 solar systems away, too. You know, it's an investment property. Like, what if this white guy just takes Wakanda to, you know, a new glory it never seen before?
Before some idiot goes, oh, Wakanda is an isolationist nation. Explain the light-skinned Wakandas then, my nigga. How does that work? But regardless, anytime you say anything about Black Panther being swapped from black to white, there's always, oh, that's blasphemy. Oh, it's integral to the character. Oh, no, they can never do anything like that. But when all these other race swaps happen, you know, like Jim Gordon from white to black, Namor, as his name is.
I wasn't really a fan of Mexican Namor. I don't care for the whole Mayan Atlantis kind of storyline. It feels like they contrived that totally to add a Latino flavor to the MCU. Like they literally poured some Sazon on the MCU. And I really didn't care for the Latino like rewriting of Atlantis. Like, you know, they got Atlantis with Namor, you know, you got the little wings on his feet and all that. And then we got a Mexican version too. Yeah, the whole time. Yeah, the whole time. They was just chilling over in Mexico. Nobody knew. I did like that the Mexicans beat up on the black single mom at the end though. That was like very symbolic of you know, modern American life right now. The new Mexican upstart army. They called this single mom nation lacking because they ain't have no man. Turns out y'all wasn't as strong and independent as y'all thought y'all was. And the water Mexicans beat the shit out of y'all. It was very symbolic when I thought about it. When I took it all in totality, I was like, what are you trying to tell me? What do you mean by this, Marvel?
It's Namor, not Namor. Namor, the Submariner, from white to fucking Spanish Aztec that got beat in Black Panther emotional manipulation because they burnt his back.
Hold up. Wait a minute.
The Spanish villain.
They literally dried his wet back. You understand the level of subliminal racisms they used to create the character Namor? At the very end of it all, they put fire on his wet back. I feel like if you look back deep into the histories of like white on Hispanic Mexican racism, there was a guy who was like, I know how to solve this wet back problem. You know what I mean? Like, they really went there on a subliminal level. You really had to, you know, you kind of have to be versed in racism to understand what they did there. If you're just a little kid watching, it would have went right over your head. But they literally put fire on his wet back, and that was what weakened him. And then he had to surrender to the strong and independent single black woman.
Had his wet back dried up. I can't even, dude, that movie's so racist, man. One of these days I'm gonna make a video on it. All these other examples of race swaps and mantle swaps, like with Captain Hand-Me-Down, all y'all people congratulated it. All of you accepted it, and you said this was the best thing ever. It was great. Anybody complaining about it must be racist, sexist, a bigot, and all these other things. And why are you stopping these black people from entering these white spaces? Those those were all the comments that you always got. So now Marvel has called your bluff. There is now.
And that's kind of why I do support the whole White Panther initiative. I think it's a, you know, good for the goose, good for the gander kind of thing. Let's see how it works out. Maybe this will be the new Wakandan glory age. It'll be the new golden age. Like SKC said, what if Wakanda starts to colonize now? Now that they got a little bit of Aryan spirit in them, they'll be like, you know what? We should run all of Africa, which is the obvious thing to do. This is why I don't like Wakanda as a concept anyway, because it's like, how are you niggas this powerful and you let slavery happen? Disgusting.
Now a white Black Panther in the canon of Marvel Comics. Thank you, Marvel, for allowing a white person to be entered into this black space. It's not fair that these black characters have all these stories and these white people can't be accepted into it. Yeah, that's how stupid you guys sound. But you have to keep that same energy. I don't want to see you on the internet complaining and crying about it because T'Challa now has a white son. Y'all didn't have a problem with none of these other race swaps, mantle swaps, sex changes, and all these other things. Y'all didn't care. So congratulate the white Black Panther. Be proud of who he is, you know? He's standing up for the Aryan brothers out there and showing some representation out there in Africa.
Shout out to all the Aryan Panthers out there, man. Where my Aryan Panthers at? Where the APs at? Stand up, all the APs in the chat. Shout out to the APs out there, man. We got a whole new set to rep, man. We got the Aryan Pantherhood. Yeah, yeah. The Aryan Pantherhood. Rep your set.
For the Aryan brothers out there and showing some representation out there in Africa. Live long, King.
That's got to be racist. There's no way. I'm gonna just keep it real. There's no way that is like of our culture.
All in all, I think it's absolutely hilarious how racist and how unaware Marvel Comics actually is. Do you guys remember the Miles Morales Thor comic where he said by Odin's fade and Asgard is his hood, and he had shoes on a clothesline in Asgard, not even understanding the significance of something like that and why it's there in the first place, and had Odin with a pair of Timbs on? Or how about the time that they made a paraplegic Spider-Man and then also made first place and had Odin with a pair of Timbs on?
Nigga, please. Serious. Serious.
SKC says, I want White Panther to replace his guard with some white blonde shield maidens. And, you know, it would be hilarious if this whole thing wound up being like a plot from Loki to steal Wakanda. And then as Loki slowly gains more and more power in Wakanda, he starts to Asgardianize Wakanda, bringing some shield maidens, put in a Bifrost, couple of flying horses, you know what I mean? Some Valkyrie chicks hanging out, just keeping an eye on the border. It would be hilarious if that's actually what happened, though.
On. Or how about the time that they made a paraplegic Spider-Man and then also made him, her, it, they, them gay? Do you see how dumb Marvel Comics is?
They made a female gay handicapped Spider-Man. How you female gay handicapped and Spider-Man? You doing too much. You doing a whole lot of shit. You need to cut that down by like half.
been for a long time. I don't know who they have in charge over there, but you're almost as bad, if not worse, than the MCU right now. And this right here is another example of the tone deafness that's happening in the Western comic space. Because it's not just Marvel doing dumb things like this. You got DC putting out fetish fart comics and shit like that in their line of work. All of Western comics.
Ew, DC, really? DC was always a bit more adult themed than Marvel. That whole Killing Joke thing, you know, they go far. DC goes far at times.
Comics is going the same route as all the other Western entertainment, and you wonder why everybody's flocking to manga and anime, because they don't get dumb shit like white Black Panther. In all seriousness, please, for the love of God, stop. Like, not even trying to grift for the content, because man, the content is great. You know, y'all gave me an idea for a video today. Congratulations. But because I love the medium so much and these characters and everything around it, I am please begging you to hire people that care about your product.
I actually think White Panther is an interesting thing. Like, from a literary comic perspective, I think it's an interesting move. Well, we don't know how successful it'll be economically or whatever, but I think it's done, especially considering all the race swapping in the one opposite direction. This is the kind of race swap where it's controversial. It garners emotions, whether you like it or hate it. Whether you love it or hate it, you're gonna feel something strong about it. I don't think this is a bad move for the Marvel team to actually race swap Black Panther. I think it's very ironic, super duper ironic. I think Black Panther is the first Black character to be officially race swapped. Can you guys think of another character that's been race swapped from Black to white? I can't think of any, but you know, maybe I don't think good. Can you guys think of a character that has been race swapped from Black to white? Because we can like name a near infinite list of characters that have been swapped from white to Black. Hell, characters that have been swapped from male to female, which is an even bigger swap from white to Black. But I don't know that we have a Black to white race swap. That's a new thing. Greek was already white. Greeks are whitish. They're not a Teutonic white. They're more of a Mediterranean white. That's almost like saying Spaniards aren't Caucasian. You know, they may be phenotypically closer to Italians or something, right? They don't look like Germans. They don't look Nordic, but they're in the white family. There's another thought I have. And help me out here, because I didn't read this particular comic book. Maybe I gotta look this up and see if somebody did a video on Storm and T'Challa. But how come Storm and T'Challa didn't get married and make a super nigga? As much as White Panther seems like an obvious kind of storyline hook, Storm and T'Challa having a super nigga that like goes on crazy semi-pro Black missions and whatnot, that would have been so dope for Marvel to have like a super nigga with Storm and T'Challa, but they couldn't do that. And what kills me about it is the kind of real life parody where Black couples just can't seem to get it together in the modern age. And then you have the wealthy, what do you call that? Black Panther is Marvel's high value nigga, right? I really can't think of a higher value nigga in Marvel Comics beyond Black Panther. Can you name, help me out, chat, can you name a higher value nigga in Marvel Comics who was over Black Panther? You know what? I think I did hear about Storm stole something from Panther. It was during like that little mutant war thing or something like that, because when the mutants had their own Krakoa place, Storm needed something for a battle and she had to steal it out of Wakanda to go fight some evil mutants. It was something crazy anyway. And then Panther caught her and was like, bitch, I'd have gave it to you, but you just had to come in here stealing and shit. Like, it was a real deep scene. I actually do remember that little scene, Dirty Folks, because I think she stole it, or she tried to steal it, and he was there because you don't steal from Black Panther. And he was like, you know I love you, right? You could have just had it if you'd asked me, but all right, go ahead, get the fuck out of here, man. Like, it was a wild scene. It was wild. It was wild. But does Marvel understand the dynamics between black love? Does Marvel understand black love? Because they don't give Marvel, I mean, they don't give Storm and Panther a super nigga baby in the main Marvel universe. You know, they give him a baby in some one-off multiverse thing, but he gets a full-grown white baby. So he was skeeting in white chicks before he even married Storm. Because you got to figure, if he's old enough to beat up a grown man, he's pretty much a grown man himself. So he's got to be 18, right? This is OG. You know, what Black Panther was out there sampling all 31 flavors. What if he got a Chinese baby out there? That'd be wicked. Can you imagine the kung fu he's going to come with? Black Panther was just out there sowing his royal oats, bro. He was doing his Eddie Murphy from Coming to America, man. He was just trying to get out there and feel what it's like. You say black love doesn't make MCU money? Not necessarily, but it will attract more black viewership or readership, I guess is the word. But because Black Panther is probably the one Marvel product that attracts like a majority black audience for obvious reasons. And I would argue that if you play little games like the whole race swap thing and having a little drama with Storm and Black Panther, that actually adds to the readership draw. But I really think they kind of needed to give us Storm Shala. I wanted Storm Shala to be a thing. I knew they couldn't stay together forever because she's too strong and independent. Like, she's literally a goddess, right? She's not a goddess for real, but she's on goddess level. You know what I mean?
But if man had to find out that his God was a woman,
I say the black woman is God, and
black woman is God.
I say the black woman is God.
The black woman is God because, you know, she was the first organism on this planet.
Yeah, you said Hulk had a kid by his first cousin. That's as trailer park as it gets. Oh, wow. That's some Hulk lore. I had no idea. Is that where She-Hulk came from? Is that why they're related? That's so weird. That is so weird. Nigga said Bob's and the Jeep Panther. No, Jeep Panther. No, let the Indians. The Indians already got their own superhero. They got Kamala Khan. They created a whole new superhero just to reach out to the Indian community. And she's lame, but, you know, whatever. Now you guys got one. Now you got to keep it. You know, the Hulk's original color wasn't even green. I think the Hulk's original color was like gray. He became green later on down the line. I think the very first Hulk was gray, though. Then we really up here nerding out over comic books and stuff. Said Rogue. Yo, if Panther, how do you have a baby with Rogue though? That is guaranteed a test tube baby. You can't skeet in Rogue. That will kill you. Rogue will mantis you. She gonna straight up praying mantis you, Black Widow you. How you skeet in Rogue? You can't make a baby with Rogue. Oh, you say they couldn't print it? What? Oh, because it was gray, maybe. Just didn't work with the color scheme. Anyway, I wanted to talk about this Black Panther thing for a little while because that was hilarious to me that they made a whole new. We got an Aryan White Panther. He don't even look like an octoroon or nothing like that. He don't even look like one of them funny looking half breed types. Like he looks straight up chiseled jaw, blue eyed Aryan. He looked like he climbs mountains and captures slaves, like straight up classical white man. You say Rogue got the best snapper in comics. I'm rooting for Gambit. No, you niggas are doing too much. I'm with you though. I'm with you. I kind of feel the same way about that because Gambit the only guy that can kind of like touch her for some reason. If anybody was gonna do it, it was gonna be the Cajun. It's Mon Chali. Even back when they had the OG Marvel 9/7 comic book, Gambit and Rogue always had a thing with each other, and it just never really, it never really popped, right? But I think they killed Gambit when they brought the new Marvel back. They killed Gambit, bro. That was crazy. He went out like a gangster, though. He went out like a gangster, but they killed Gambit. I always wanted to see Gambit reach his Omega level because like Gambit has like an Omega level theoretically. I don't know if it ever went canon, but he does have like an old man Gambit kind of feature where I think he's damn near time traveler or something crazy like that. It was wild. It was wild, but you said Gambit couldn't hit Raw at all. Oh my God. Rogue is the most cursed chick in all of comics, bro, because like she's a thick body redhead, and you can't never touch that. You know how torturous that is to have a thick body redhead in love with you and you can't touch it. You can't, nothing, not a handy, nothing. I mean, maybe she could, if she put on some rubber gloves and a lot of baby oil, you can get a creative handy. But like, really, I mean, God, there's nothing you can do with that. That is so frustrating. And then don't mess up and get like the Marvel Comics version, the Marvel cartoon version of Rogue, because there's two versions of Rogue apparently. There's one where she absorbed Miss Marvel. So if you watch like the old school X-Men 9/7, Rogue is like she can absorb anyone's powers, plus she's like invincible, she can fly, she's strong, all that, because she absorbed like Captain Marvel, basically. I said Ms. Marvel. She absorbed Captain Marvel and took her powers. She's literally got like Captain Marvel's psyche trapped in her brain or something like that. Like the OG Rogue was crazy OP, and they kind of nerfed her in the new Marvel. Like they nerfed Rogue in the movies and stuff. Now all she does is she's a succubus in the new Marvel. And the OG cartoon, Rogue was crazy OP, bro. You couldn't really mess with Rogue. You say Thor could hit it? Maybe, but I don't even know how that works. Like, would she absorb the Odin Force out of Thor? Because that's literally all she does is like absorb your power. But does that apply to mutant power or cosmic power? Does it stretch to cosmic power as well? I don't know if that's ever been tested. That's a weird combo. We got to get Thor and Rogue to shake hands one day and see what happens. Could you imagine Rogue with the Odin Force? That would be wild. Anyway, we're nerding out a little bit too hard over here. Shout out to all the Black Blurs. Shout out to Blurred Gang. Shout out to Blurred Gang. Sue Storm is not the mother. If Sue Storm runs away with anybody, it's going to be Namor. That's already canon, bro. If she runs away, she's gonna have to go with Namor. Sue Storm is already spoken for. Yo, niggas really coming up with yeah, I can't believe we done started this line of comic book discussion. This is what happens when you get a group of people who really understand comic book realities, and now they start wondering about the fringes of stuff. Like, so who could smash Rogue? And this nigga says Galactus, bro. Dirty folks says wear a condom and just go out through the zipper. Nah, bro. I don't even think a Galactus could even count, bro. And then we got some controversy about Thor, because I don't know if she could do the whole. I don't know if you can only absorb a mutant power. Again, I don't know if it's been tested in the Marvel universe. We got to see that. Hulk can't smash. Well, Hulk isn't a mutant technically, but yeah, I don't know. That's weird. That is a really weird image that you just put in my mind. Hulk and Rogue. Why'd you do that to me? Chuckaway, you're terrible. You're a terrible, terrible person. Rogue was still only like a level 2 mutant. It's that Magneto could get it done. They said the anti-monitor definitely smashed, not the anti-monitor. You really got to be on some like cosmic level to be safe from her absorption power, though, right? Magneto, I think Magneto could do it though, because Magneto got that thing where like he can create that really microscopically thin magnetic shield. Magneto could create a magnetic condom. Could you imagine a condom made of raw magnetic force, bro? The Magneto Ultra. That's the only way it can possibly go down. That's the only way it could possibly go down. He would have to create a magnetic force so thin, yet so durable that it can't be penetrated. The magna skin. The mag skin. Like, how else can you get to Rogue though? Like, real talk. How else can you get to Rogue? And then there's a whole other level that we haven't even considered, right? There's a whole other level. Like, what if the minute your sperm makes contact with her physical body, it just dies? Like, because you got to understand, regular sperm can't live there. You know what I mean? Like, you got to have that Captain America super soldier serum. Like, you got to be skeeting straight super soldier. Like, it can't just be any old, because you realize what it does. Like, it sucks the life out of everything. Her whole body does that. You touch her ear, her lip, her pinky toe, any physical contact, right? So I'm just saying there's a whole level of this that we hadn't yet considered. What if her powers really extend to the microscopic? I mean, it's a wrap at that point. How do you make a baby with Rogue, bro? This is a terrible problem we done discovered here. I mean, at best, Magneto could thrash it, though. I think we've all agreed that Magneto could thrash it. Yeah, learning as I go. I think you realize the problem. We're here, man. You gotta come up. You need Beast to come up with some type of medicine. You know how like they got a medicine for like if you have a baby with like a wrong blood type or something, the body will try to like reject the baby, and so they give you a medicine that will like mask the body's signature so that your body won't recognize the new body as something harmful. Beast would have to come up with a new type of medical procedure. There's no way, bro. See, we get real technical. The Dr. Doom would figure it out. But Rogue would need a boyfriend first because Doom be on that Bobby Womack lick. Bro, nobody says no to doom. Nobody says no to doom. He gets you up in that Latvian castle, hands you a goblet of some green stuff, some fizziness coming off the top of it. Nobody says no to doom, bro. I don't even know what you mean. What is a Rule 34 type fantasy, man? I done nerded out so hard. I done hit territory I'm unfamiliar with. What is a Rule 34 type fantasy? Is that like a prime directive? What's Rule 34, bro? Help me out here, man. I don't know what you're talking about right now. Niggas really throwing names in the hat, bro. Niggas said Thanos. Niggas really said Thanos, bro. What is a Thanos? Nah, bro. Nigga really said Thanos. All right, we got one guy saying don't look it up. We got Daniel saying look it up. I'm frozen with analysis paralysis now. I don't know what to do. Man, listen, man. Y'all going too far. You're going too far, Biggs. We gotta get out of here, man. We gotta get out of here. And I gotta read into Elon Musk and Trump. We gotta come back tomorrow and figure out what's going on with Trump. Yeah, yes, Portia. I don't have much more to say. I wanna move on. I gotta go to work tomorrow. I got things I need to do. We're not gonna hang out all night with you nibbers. But I want to see what's up with Elon. I got to figure out what their beef is. Elon said Trump is on the Epstein list, though. Yo, you know what? I think you're right. I got to go back and rewatch that. I think you are right. I think Magneto stole what's his name from the Cajun. Magneto stole Rogue from Gambit. True Hype with the $5 super chat says allegedly Magneto in X-Men 97 series was with Rogue and he just created a magnetic field or just take her to the Savage Lands, which neutralize powers. I forgot about the Savage Lands. You could have a whole mutant thing in the Savage Lands. Nah, Portia, there haven't been any real big crash outs as far as I've seen. I played a couple of black videos, but you know, real blurs aren't going to crash out over this. Blurs and crashing out don't really do the thing. You know what I mean? But anyway, shout out to True Hype. Thanks for supporting the show, man. We got to get up out of here. I will catch you guys tomorrow. We'll be back with another one. Have a good night, y'all.
Aspiring to be patriarchs like what white men have, that isn't freedom. That isn't going to help anybody. It's certainly not going to help black people.
When I die, I'ma go to Snow Bunny heaven. Snow Bunny heaven.
It's done. It's done. It's done. It's done. It's done.